don't know what that was. I gotta wait for everybody to come back. That was really crazy. I don't know what that was. Pull it back in. It was good. It wasn't even like cutting out or anything, but then it just like went out. We were on a roll, you guys. Let's get the ball rolling again. Okay. The likes, everything. But the information. So it's the awareness of a feeling that you're reflecting upon in terms of courage and strength and being comfortable with feeling understanding that that just is you being tested to show yourself how far you can go, right? How capable you are, what you are made of, really, that type of thing. But sometimes you have to go in and you have to reflect, right? You have to bring yourself to a place of balance. You have to recalibrate so that you can come out with a fresher perspective and then really go after something. You know what I mean? So it almost is kind of like you're airing it out, or you're giving a little bit of an air filtration so that everything feels a little bit newer. And you definitely like that idea of things changing or feeling new or feeling fresh in the mind, and how you interpret something, concepts, freshened concepts, things like that. So, in that sense, it's very good for you guys to get into these places where you're having to think outside the box or you're having to feel challenged by something that you may have been used to doing otherwise or used to kind of like cultivating similar things. This is a future card. Read it yet because I like to read all of them kind of like later. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm yawning. How many people do we have back in here? Okay, we're good. We're picking back up. Anyway, let's look at your sun position. Sun position, you have another seven. So the Seven of Pentacles, that's what this is. The Trail of Tears is what they call it. This is almost kind of like not feeling like something is you're being restricted and you feel like it's not fair, right? This is Saturn in Taurus, I believe. Yeah. So it's almost like your confidence levels are kind of being tested, but it's like you're starting to feel like the time and the energy and the effort that you put into something may not have been wild. And it really to be able to have a little bit more faith. It's almost like you're reaching universal like spirit. You're you're thinking about, you're reflecting upon stuff. Um, you're trying to also create a sense of balance, and it has to do with like you have to make a choice about something, how you're going to see something through, or get in the right mindset. Yeah, you really got to be in there if you want something to manifest and you want something to kind of grow, accumulate. It says that you definitely how sweet a deal might be, you know. You guys could be saving up for something and you may not be saving as much money as you want to save. It's almost like it's like put on hold. It's like you wanted something to happen for like the holiday season, but it's like you still are going to do that thing, but it won't be happening like at the time that you wanted it to because there's still like some more work that has to be done or there's still like some more time that needs to be invested in this thing or this could be a person, you know what I mean? Because it's the sun position. So there might be some more time that you need to invest in someone before you could see like it develop into something more consistent for you. Yeah, because you are committed to something here as well. Like you're committed to something, but it's like you're almost like you're not seeing why you're staying committed to it, right? You're like, what's the point of me continuing to like put any energy into look over this thing and like monitor this situation? And I feel like I just really want to give anyway. But you know, it really is saying that you you shouldn't be discouraged, right? Because you have to choose to be confident about something, right? Because if it's almost like if you're not confident about what it is that you're doing, then how on earth do you think that it's going to become anything more than what it already is? You know what I mean? Because you're not putting any of that positive energy into it becoming anything more. You're thinking about what it's not, right? It's almost like you're devaluing the learning process. Yeah, so it's almost like you're in a place where you're almost kind of being tested, and it's like, you're almost falling under the pressure of being tested, and it's like, do you really deserve that thing if you can't even like, be cool with the fact that it's not coming right now, right? It's like it's not all or nothing, right? You shouldn't think of it like that. um Let's look at the moon placement for you guys. Okay, you got the craftsman. That's the three of pentacles. This is here. Merry Christmas. Ooh, Trinidad. Yes. Tobago. So the craftsman is Mars and Capricorn. Capricorn season, that's what we're in right now. This is talking about, perfected work, seeing something through, wanting something to happen, right? Wanting something to sort of start to take shape. It's also reflecting on an experience. You know, looking around you and seeing what's going on, letting that influence you, letting that influence the work. You might be seeing the work that other people are doing, and you're letting that sort of like encourage you to do better work, that type of thing. You really get into that. Mars likes being in Capricorn, and it's very encouraging. You know, efforts. But this is almost kind of like individual work, right? This is a talent, this is a skill, because this is something that you can't go out and buy. It's almost like you can't even just go out and you're just because you have a degree doesn't mean that you'll be able to like excel at this skill, this type of thing. You know what I mean? Could you guys all like the video, please? Thank you. Um, yes. Something about March for some of you, the month of March. Um, that's also Pisces season. There might be something in regards to like Pisces, um, something. I don't know. It's not in the card, but that's just what I'm getting. Um, yeah, or yeah, definitely. There might be someone who is maybe like a Libra involved or a mom, because this is in the moon placement, right? And this is a three, so it is related to the Empress. So it is talking about a need to reflect upon something, but it is also saying a need to feel complete within something. A need to feel complete, almost as if like what you have to show for your work represents the quality of the work that you have done, and you feel like you do work so well and so hard and so efficiently that you probably deserve more than you're getting, like more money. Hi. Yeah, more recognition, or you may even feel like you're better than where in the, of the you're more qualified than the position that you're in right now. Some of you may feel like that, and that's why you wished for something more. and also you feel it's being tested because it's like you didn't it wasn't like something got blocked, but it's almost like you were hoping that it would be a little bit more of a sweeter deal than it was, and now you're feeling weird because it's almost like now I have to deal with being here because like I'm in it, whatever that is, whatever it is that you might be committed to, that you've been looking at for a while and expecting something from it. It's an expectation too that you're also dealing with and you're identifying with something. You definitely are reflecting on this experience of putting energy, effort, and time into something, and learning stuff too, right? So it's almost like you just haven't been like doing. You haven't just been there doing the physical aspects of getting things done. You've been learning stuff too. So you feel like your experience has been enriched. You feel like you literally have like gone up in rank in your head in terms of like your skill level and how capable you are and how you see the position that you are in, that type of thing. It could be any type of situation. It could yeah, we're just going to continue going. In your anxieties, you've got the corn dance, which is the three of vessels. That's the three of cups. So with this card, it's talking about the need to express something um, through creativity. It's almost like you're having anxieties about whether or not people are going to be interested in something that you are making. Or it could be that you are having anxieties about having a good time, right? This could be like someone not expressing some of their needs, so their needs are not being met. So then when your needs aren't being met, then you're going to kind of like look for them elsewhere, that type of thing, which is kind of unhealthy as well. When you go out looking to find things in other places that actually are right there with you. And that's what the threes also relate to as well. The Empress, right? Think of that card and what it looks like. It's a woman, she's abundant, she's got wheat, she's got lotus, she's got water. It's very in rich land, very fertile soil, lots of bountiful goodness behind her, but yet she's around waiting for someone to come up and experience this beauty that she's surrounded in, right? So it's almost kind of like you want kind of see what it is that you need, but it's like if you don't tell people what you need or what you want, then you can't expect them to know what that thing is, right? So then it's almost like you're putting yourself in jeopardy and you're putting the other person in jeopardy too if you're not communicating what your needs are. If you're just having feelings about something and you're just letting those feelings sort of like live there, then nothing really is going to get processed. Mercury and Cancer, that's what this card is. Okay, and this is yeah, this is sort of like the second phase of Cancer. So you're in the middle of something, right? In the middle of a waiting period, definitely. I feel like you know how things are going to turn out, right? It's like you feel like you know something that actually won't go back to the way that it used to be. Like it's the three of cups, so it's not going back to the two. It's about multiplication too. It's about multiplicity, the ability to create more of something. um, it's also potential, so you have anxieties about your potential too, and the potential to create. um, are you feeling as inspired as you have been in the past? Um, yeah, I don't know what. Yes, 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 yes. Three. Sensitivities. Sensitive to something. You guys are highly sensitive, so then it's almost like to whether or not other people, it's almost like you need someone else to say yes, that is right, for you to know that it's right when you already were doing the right thing to begin with. It's like you were doing your work and you were like, this is right, and you were like, oh, does that person over there think that what I'm doing is right? You think, you know what I mean? And then they're like, yeah, I think what you're doing is right. And you're like, okay, I'll continue. But if they don't think that it's what you're doing is right, it's not like you should stop doing it. You should definitely keep going and doing what you're doing because you were still you before they came along, right? Also, like in a job too, you know why you got hired. You know what you're capable of. You know what you're doing. You got a lot of pentacles here. That's all. That's why I'm talking about that. You got pentacles, and you got one. You got the two of pentacles. You got the three of pentacles. You got the seven of pentacles, and you got the nine of pentacles. So there's some things that are building, that are accumulating, and you're getting there, and you're seeing it, but it's almost kind of like a little bit just disjointed for you. But that could be because you're picking it apart, because that you have like, that's you have a history of doing that. But it's okay because how would you know what really is if you didn't do that? And that's information. Mercury. Your planet is direct right now. It's still in Sagittarius. So that's good. But Mercury doesn't really like to be in Sagittarius. Mercury is kind of like very short with its communication. And it's like, it's not really kind of like getting to the core of something. It really is kind of like, going through it and making little fast connections happen. But that Sagittarius energy, right? It is going long distances, right? So it takes a little bit more time. It takes a little bit more energy. It's going to take a little bit more distance to get to where you're going. So you're going to just have to like see it through. Um, Right, and you're gonna have to be adaptable still because Mercury is a mutable planet and it's an immutable sign right now, but it's not an immutable sign that it wants to be in. It wants to either, which is interesting because Gemini energy is pretty quick, right? And then Virgo is slower, but there's a lot of things going on within the slow pace. So there's a lot of things that you have to look at, right? Because there's too many things, you don't want to miss something. Although we have to take our time, we have to go slow, and we know that there's a lot of variables here that need to be, considered. But it's worth it to have all of these options, and it's worth it to drive ourselves crazy so that we really, it's almost like not analysis paralysis, but it's like, when someone studies for a test so much that like they almost feel stupid after after they've studied so much, right? It's almost like your brain can absorb any more information. And sometimes it gets like that with Virgo too. For yourself, for you, you get exhausted kind of like that. And you guys might be feeling exhausted too just because Mercury is there. It's in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, Virgo, uh what is that for you? It's your fourth house of home and family. Is that what it is? Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sag. Yeah, it is. Fourth house of home and family. Yeah, so you got Mercury there right now, and I feel like that's the only thing. So you might be, going traveling a lot, but going like it's not like you're going and you're staying for like 2 weeks at a time, or you're living there, but you're kind of like going and you're coming back, you're going, coming back. Or this could just be like, wherever you live around your town, you might be like places. And I don't know why I'm saying that, but Anyway, let's look at the Mars placement right here. So this is saying that you need to trust into in your intuition and go with your gut feeling because the corn maiden is actually the high priestess. Okay? For every action that relocating, yes. For every action there is a reaction, yes? So it's almost like once you uncover something, then that is going to make something else form out of that, right? Because the whole the it was the awareness of something, and this is almost kind of like a waiting period too, just because it's kind of figuring something out. It's a need for reflection, right? You're reflecting high, you're reflecting here on the fact that there's like a choice to be made in terms of like, are you going to listen to your spirituality, or are you going to go with what you see in front of you, right? Because, I was telling someone else about this too, but corn was cultivated out of grass. Like there was no seed that you planted and it was like, oh, this is a corn seed or kernel and grain and it's gonna grow. They literally had to like plant, replant, 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 replant. You know what I mean? Until it actually became, corn. Corn is almost like the fruit that came from, the the farming of the grass. So it's almost like it's a very spiritual thing. Corn is like not a natural. It's natural, but it's not a natural occurring thing. It's almost like they were in a natural science lab outside, back in the day, the natives, and they actually produced corn on their own. And it was how in the amount of time that it took for them to cultivate it is just saying that they knew, and deep inside of them, it's somewhere in the subconscious, it's very spiritual, right? They listened, and they were able to, or something was created, right? Three, creation, something came out of it, and it was just from a supreme knowing that they had. Just keep doing it, keep going with the feeling that you have that something is going to, really be something. For them, that's what it was. But it's like, when you listen to that, even it's saying what you see in front of you, because he doesn't see corn yet. There's no corn that has grown on this. It really is just the blades. This is kind of like what it grows into after it's just blades of grass, right? That you lay on in the park. I'm sure it's a different species. But it grows and they're still cultivating it, even though corn has actually not grown yet, but they're still doing it, you know what I mean? Because they have the faith, right? Subconscious energy, Neptune energy, Pisces, the moon, dissolving boundaries, right? Being able to tap into source to communicate with spirit, or with whatever belief you might have. But it's definitely an understanding that it is a choice that you should want to do that. Understand a little bit more. In your advice, your Venus placement here, which is talking about your relationships, it's talking about harmony, fairness, beauty, um, not necessarily beauty, but this could be like the beauty is taken out of something, right? This is talking to me about the severity of something too. It's almost like thinking about the pros and the cons within a commitment that you have been made. Oh, it's funny. I was just saying cultivation a lot, and this is the cultivation card, Five of Pentacles, right? The fives are apparently they're it's almost like good and evil, that type of thing, which goes back to the Hierophant, which is religion, which talks about good and evil a lot. Uh, I think that you guys might want to start thinking about like why it is that something, you know what I mean? This is almost feeling like there's no hope, or there's no way of things getting better. And that is almost kind of like letting evil thoughts seep into your mind and they create your reality for you, right? It's almost like when you allow yourself to believe what you tell yourself, even if it's not true, then it kind of becomes your reality. So you have to be very careful because it's a thin line between, right? It's a thin line between good and evil, love and hate. So it's a thin line. You tread on what do they call it? Shallow waters or something. Or you're kind of like you're kind of like in a place where you are putting yourself in a bad position, right? Just because of your mental state and how you and your belief systems, what are you allowing yourself to believe at this moment when you're being tested here? You know, it's like, almost like your faith is being tested too. Comfort levels, you know, you might be thinking, you might be being asked, you know, or made to feel some levels of discomfort. Yeah. Taurus energy here in this card. Um, Also, there's something going on with, like, it could be like a Leo. Maybe you guys are dealing with a Leo. Um, or this could have to do with like children or like friends, things like that. Because it's five, so that's the fifth house. That's Leo energy. It could be a pride issue that you're dealing with. Some of your pride might be injured. You might be feeling like an injury to your pride. Yeah, a little bit. And that's the advice. It's saying like probably get over the fact that your pride might have been injured, you know. Your confidence might have been a little bit bruised. But it really is the way that you perceive something. So when you understand why it is that your confidence or your pride was bruised, think about what it was that sort of like triggered you to feel like you might have been being treated poorly or treated badly or made to feel like, you know, there were difficulties within a commitment that you attached yourself to, right? Like that type of thing. It is about cultivation, and what you make is what you make of it, because it's like the fives are like, yes, there is something here that we understand that we don't like, that we want to change. But the thing is that like you have to understand how you can change the situation. But if you're not willing to let go of your control issues, and you know the frustrations of why you can't do something, or the frustrations of why, you know, you yourself might be then you know you just, you know, you got to take the good with the bad, you know. Absolutely. For sure. With these fives here, right? It's almost like rolling with the punches. You know, you're gonna meet this type of opposition, or you're gonna meet this type of hardship at some point in your life. We all meet hardship at some point in our lives. So it really is at these points in time when we really are being tested that we have to really activate our belief systems and our faith, and really see what we are made of, you know, because it is talking about the strength of something. But it's in a different way. The strength to see yourself through hard times, and realizing that, you know, if you stay in a rut you will be. Um, these cards are so crazy because when they're flipped over, I can't. Am I getting old? Like, share, and comment, you guys, or subscribe. um, just a little reminder there. So let's look at the outcome or the energy moving forward. This is the matriarch of shields. It's cardinal earth energy, which is Capricorn. So this is talking about someone who likes to get involved, right? You're going to be more involved in the production of something and seeing something through. Yeah, it's almost like you're going to be providing something that was needed to. It could be a project that only you could have provided this thing for. You feel good because you're able to express part of your skill set uh, that is very creative, and that just makes you feel a little bit more um, a part of the experience that you were already in. that type of thing, right? Because you've been wanting to feel like you were a part of it and not just adding to it. Yeah, that type of thing. Also, you've got the Two of Pentacles here in the future position, and that's talking about, learning that if you spend money, then there's going to be less money, right? And if you save money, then you're going to have a little bit more than you would have if you didn't save any. So it's kind of like being able to make the right choices in terms of investments, time, not putting too much on your plate, because it is Jupiter and Capricorn. Capricorn likes to move slow. Jupiter likes to move fast. So if Capricorn energy takes on too much with Jupiter being there, then it's going to get a little bit too overwhelming for Capricorn energy. It's going to have to, juggle things. Things might slip through the cracks, that type of thing. So don't take on too much responsibility and don't create any irresponsibility through your lack of control. Okay, because Jupiter sometimes can get a little bit overzealous and he can reach a little bit farther than he's meaning to go. Um, Kachina Juggler. That's what this card is called. I don't know what that is. But it is talking about the ability to have the light side and the shadow side, or like the yin and the yang, balance. You're looking for balance here too. But it's almost like financial balance, that type of thing. So now let's look at the goal and what you're rising to. Wow, this is wonderful because it is Mercury. It is your card. We did all that talk about Mercury being in Sagittarius and it being direct now. Well, it's the Magician. Mercury is the Magician. It is number one. And in this card, it's the Hosting Coyote. Hosting Coyote. Okay, so this is being able to understand that you have options, you have resources, and it's up to you to exercise those resources. It's up to you to use those resources as tools to further you in getting to the next step. Because one is the awareness of something and it's something being initiated, but then it's like you're going to have to like see it through from that point on. Yes, it's almost like a ray. In geometry, it's a starting point and then it goes on forever, right? So understand when an opportunity is presenting itself so that you can, latch on to it, turn that switch on, switch that light on, whatever it is. So honored to catch you. Oh, thank you. But yeah, definitely. This is something that you won't be able to change, is that, you're going to be, the the influence that you as an individual have over your experience, and that it's always about how you see yourself in a situation, right? um, because if you don't feel like there's anything there for you to participate in or for you to be a part of, just kind of like have the impetus to even involve yourself in, then there's no point in being there, right? You won't even get to the next point because you don't feel like you even want to get to the next point there. Lupe Esquivel. Okay, 1968. So many people have turned 50 recently that I know. But I have Saturn in my first house, and I also have Pluto there too. So that means that I have like connections with like older people or just more mature people. I have an old, I feel like I'm an old soul, but I don't necessarily look it. But that's also a Saturn in the first house trait. This was a really wonderful reading, you guys. Definitely, reflect on your experiences, be aware of the things that you are taking away from yourself that you should be giving back to yourself, right? um, you know let your vulnerabilities show you how to be how to gain more courage and strength. uh, Definitely understand that for every action there's a reaction, and that you are always going to have there's always going to be a consequence to a choice that is made. um, Believe in your experience even when it's showing you things that aren't always the most positive. um, you definitely should wish and you definitely should see yourself achieving greater things than you are doing now because you want to always have that sensibility about you that you can always improve, right? Because you have the Nine of Pentacles here in the present. So, even though you're being tested, you're always being tested so that you can see yourself having make those improvements in life and become more elevated. It's almost like your quality increases, not just the quality of your life, but you become more worth. Your worth increases, right? And it's just through all of these tests that are happening for you, and thinking about how your past is present. Yeah. And sometimes, people are looking in the past and looking in the future, but then they're not realizing what's going on right now in the present that is actually very, very, very important because that is going to influence the future that they're looking towards. What's in the past is the past, and you can't change that, right? That's because, like, it's already happened, and those experiences that you've had were karmic for you. And oh, thank you. I think I am doing well. I'm doing a little bit better. I'm starting to meditate, and there were all these synchronicities going on. And today I was having these weird moments with myself. And at work yesterday at Shanti on 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd, Union Square, New York City, I had chills the entire day, like talking to other readers there that work there. But the moon has been in Cancer for like the past 2 days, so I've been kind of like in that energy as well. I really love this deck. It's the Native American Tarot deck, and I feel like it was meant for me. The person who gave it to me said they never used it. When they gave it to me, it felt like it was like in mint condition, but it almost felt like they also had the deck for a long time, but they just didn't use it. But I have it now, and I love it. I have Native American blood in my family, and these cards are amazing. So, Virgo, if you want to get a reading from me, then email providencetarot kendrick@gmail.com. We have a special. I have a special going on this month, and it is 15 minutes for $20. Yes, enjoy your holiday as well. Um, Yeah, I have some soulmate cards too. So if you guys will have if anybody has a reading or they want a reading about like someone that they're like interested in or someone that they feel like they have a connection to that's so strong and so deep that you just find yourself not being able to like move away from this person. You're always wondering like, why are you here? Why are we together? And meaning like having this experience when we can't really be together, like that type of thing, right? Um, Yeah, definitely into doing stuff like that. I got some kunzite, which has been all so divine for me over the past couple of days. It's like a pale green color. It's very like crystalline, kind of glassy. But when it's green, when it's kind of pale green like this, they call it hiddenite. And it might come in like a pale yellow color. And this is prasiolite, which is supposed to transmute negative energy into positive. It kind of has like a very ivory and green type of thing to it, but it's very pale colored. Anyway, I hope that you guys really enjoyed the reading. I enhanced a wand last week. I added some goldstone to it, some goldstone beads, some feathers that I found. Actually, they're turkey feathers, and I had a dream about turkey feathers maybe like a year ago, and I didn't understand what it meant for me. But now I think that I understand what it meant for me. Um, Same week I got the Native American cards. It's crazy. Enjoy the full moon energy that is echoing, resonating. Follow us on Instagram, Providence Tarot. Follow me on Instagram at NYC Kendrick and at Kendrick NYC. Both of those. I monopolized it. Um, yeah. I read at Shanti on 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd. The address is 230 East 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Um, Also, I think I'll be doing a psychic fair, volunteering at a psychic fair in January on the 27th, maybe. That might be a Sunday as well. Um, Usually I just go after I'm at Shanti, so I'm usually only there for like the last 2 hours. Oh my gosh. I'm tired, you guys. Believe in what it is that you've already started to do. And if you're changing things or things are being changing, believe in the changes that are happening. Everything that is, when you're tested and when you experience challenges, they're definitely meant to help you grow stronger and enrich your experience. And a month or so, or even months from now, you'll be like, that wasn't so bad. It's like me at the in the summertime, like in July, or at the end of July, beginning of August, and like maybe a month or two after that, I felt like things were like so crazy. But now I'm like, yay, that was kind of crazy. But what happened? No, I'm just kidding. I remember what happened. Um, everything always evolves and everything always changes. Just understand that everything isn't, finite. There's a few things that are, but everything isn't. Right? So, I will talk to you guys soon. Right? I love the way those cards shuffle. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I can't wait to see you guys in 2019, and I can't wait for 2020. Bye.